Hi friends, Marin with Into Mobile. In my hand here I have a hot new Android tablet. This one's coming from Toshiba. It's called the Toshiba Thrive. And we're going to go on a quick hardware tour and software tour for you. So on the back, we'll start here. If you can see in there, there's like grooved surfaces there. Makes for a nice in-hand feel. But if this color isn't your flavor, you can actually take this thing off by going to the speaker ports here. It's a little difficult to do with both hands on. There's also this button here at the top to take it off. So let's say you don't want a black one, you want a gray one, or you want this purplish one, or the blue one. It's all about customization and being able to make this device your own. Let's stick with the black on there. Looks cool to me. Snaps on. Pretty easy. Let's lock it up. And that'll be a good place to go with the hardware tour. On the top you have the 5 megapixel rear camera. You see the with Google there? Doesn't look like it's coming out on camera. There you go. 5 megapixel camera and the 2 megapixel camera front facing. What's interesting about this is it's set up, the cameras make you want to hold it in the portrait mode, which is kind of different than other Android tablets we've seen. On the right you have some indicator bars. There's a power, there's a Wi-Fi, and then what's the third? Just your unlock. And then here you have the power unlock button. You have a volume rocker, and you also have a portrait mode lock, so you can lock it in landscape or portrait, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Moving on down, you have the full SD card slot there, and that's kind of, Toshiba comes from the laptop business, and they said that they wanted to make it easier for people to use things that they're familiar with, like SD cards, like USB ports. Here you have a headphone jack, and you have an AC adapter, or your AC plug, comes with their quick charge technology. So they're saying about an hour after you plug it in, you can get more than 80% charge, which would be awesome. Pop this off, you can see full-size ports here. That's a USB port, that's an HDMI port, and that's a micro USB there. But that's pretty cool, and it's 1.6 pounds, 0.6 ounces. You don't really lose that much. It's not as thin as the iPad 2 or the Samsung Galaxy Tab that we saw, but it's still light. You can hold it in one hand, not that big of a deal. Those come in handy for some of the software we'll show you too. And then this side you have your speakers where you can take it off. This is a full docking port. Dock is right behind me. You can go right there, pop it in there, and magic. So let's look at the software now. One of the problems, or one of the cool things about this, is that it launches with Android 3.1. So what that means is you can do things like the USB mode. You can have USB host mode. It smoothly goes from home screen to home screen. Now the USB host mode is actually better on this because it has a full USB, so you won't have to fumble around with ports and adapters and all that. But that also represents a few problems, because if you're plugging in SD cards, if you're plugging in USB sticks, how are you going to manage that? Well, Toshiba has your back. Here's a file manager system. Looks pretty simple and easy. We don't have an SD card in there, but quick way to just get content from here, get it off physically, and you can always email yourself stuff as well if you'd like. Some of the other things, this is Android 3.1. We did show you that, so you have improved browsing, you have a multitask window that goes for multiple apps, but let's look at some of their specific apps. I know the media player is new on here. There you go. Pretty visually interesting UI, and you're probably going to use this a lot because it'll be easier to say, get your legally obtained movie that you have on a thumb drive and just toss it on here for a plane ride, or something like that. What else do we have in here? You have a couple preloaded games, pretty standard stuff. We also have book places, which is an ebook shop, as you would expect, and you also have Start, which is a pretty cool little news app actually that I was looking at. Just pulls in different stories, visually interesting way. Pop right into it. So, this is the Toshiba Thrive. It's going to come in 3 different models, 8, 16, and 32 gigabytes. We are going to have a lot more on this for you in the near future. So, let us know what you want to hear, and thanks for watching.